So what is the purpose of hypnosis? We have gone through a little bit about this. You'll notice there is repetition with what I'm saying, and that's on purpose as well. So the purpose of hypnosis is it's the induction of states for a purpose to control circumstances in the way we feel, think, and act. I love this quote. This man here who wrote this book that I recommended, he's a student of Charles Tebbett's. So Charles Tebbett's, I have come to learn, was an extremely amazing teacher of hypnosis. And that's why I love this book too, because it's specifically got Charles Tebbett's contribution to hypnosis. And this is one of his quotes. And it's just, I love this quote. It's everything I know hypnosis to be. So since the subconscious mind is our driving force, we always do what our subconscious or unconscious believes. Since it will believe anything it is told, we can reprogram it if we bypass the conscious mind and substitute new constructive ideas for its existing negative ones. So replacing negative beliefs into new ways of being is how I see that. Love that quote. Remember, I'm going to give you a copy of these slides too, straight after we finish today. Now, I love this too. I've always known this, but to see it in this way. Logic works with the conscious mind. So our conscious mind is logical, but the imagination is the language of the unconscious mind. Isn't that just amazing? It's so cool for us to get that. Imagination is the language of the unconscious mind. So hypnosis helps the unconscious mind by enhancing our ability to imagine. Now, if I want you to remember and understand one thing today, when I have thought about hypnosis before doing all of this extra study I did in the last week, when I think of hypnosis, I think about the power of suggestion. And learning hypnosis, I have it be for us that it just reminds us again how we are constantly being suggested to the unconscious mind by our external environment every day and by our conscious mind. We are continuously suggesting things to ourselves. And the question there is, are they suggestions that we really want to live by, or are they not? And so when I found myself suggesting beautiful things to you in your process just before lunch, my big suggestions were all around you connecting to your inner wisdom. Again, for you to be making the best suggestions for yourself. You know, beliefs are a suggestion. Values of what is important to you is something that you're suggesting to be true. Your unconscious mind will have you live by what you are suggesting. You're the one who says what's important to you, and your unconscious mind goes, okay. If you hear something and you believe that to be true, your unconscious mind goes, okay, let's live by that. Let's behave like that. Let's feel that way. Let's act, respond from your belief. You tell me and I will obey. Okay? Power of suggestion.
Can I share, if you don't mind, Lauren, just
Yeah.
on that last comment you said about hypnosis helping the unconscious mind by enhancing the ability to imagine. When we did that experience before lunch, and I think you mentioned something about, using your inner wisdom and what makes you happy. I had a whole heap of business ideas actually come to me at that time of areas that I could link in with that I had never thought of before. And then I went, oh, that's just like an automatic thing. I should have thought of that. But it really did bring it forward quite easily for me.
Yes, in the process before you're saying all these ideas came.
Yeah.
Yes, I feel too, because your conscious mind was not judging those. And could you feel that those ideas were closer to you?
Yeah, and very linked to similar stuff to what I do now in work.
Right.
So being able to bridge across would be quite easy.
Wow. And you made that connection.
Yeah, it was really good.
Awesome. It's like, for me, I feel that's a great example of having your dreams become closer to your reality. Like, I feel hypnosis can connect us with our desires and wants more closely. Like, that's why people come and think of hypnosis for quit smoking. I think because of, one knows logically they want to quit smoking, but hypnosis bridges that gap to connect them on the unconscious level of how they can have that be their reality. And I absolutely love something that I learned from my specific hypnosis teacher, DJ Jackson. And he has given me, in my being his student as a trainer, he's given me a process that allows us to understand what makes a very powerful hypnosis script. And from that, we can go ahead and create our own scripts. And so you'll find that the process I will share with you, and I might share it today, actually, since I've brought it up, I might just go over it with you, is it's so cool because it takes a desire and a want that our conscious mind has logically thought about, and it gives the unconscious mind that bridge to go, cool, this is why you've been doing it the way that you have. This is why you want this, but it's felt so out of reach. And here is how you can now actually start to do this in your reality. That is the part, like, I love hypnosis for that reason. Thank you for sharing. Loving the sharing today, so keep doing it. Yes. And hypnosis is an extraordinary quality of mental, physical, and emotional relaxation with a partial absence of the inhibition. See, I told you. I say to myself that that's a hard word to say, and then I stop myself from being able to say it. Inhibitory process. Cool. So it is such a quality of relaxation that, again, we lose our inhibitory process. You guys try to say that, inhibitory. It's not easy. See? Not easy. So I've endeavored to suggest to you that it's more easy than we think, because I haven't said it's hard. I've said it's not easy. But I have made a suggestion to you guys. Since you're on mute, you practice saying inhibitory, an absence of the inhibitory process. There's so many words. Often authoritarianism. That's one I have to practice as well. Authoritarianism. You practice that one. See how you find it. So, talking about inhibitory process. I'm just going to anchor that in for us all now. A process where we don't have our judgments, right? What inhibitions? Inhibitions? Do you say inhibitions? Is that the word? Yeah. A process where you don't have inhibitions, you don't have judgment, right? It means that we have let go of our critical faculty. So here is another thing that I think about as key when I think of what is hypnosis. I think it's the power of suggestion because of this. It is the letting go of what's called our critical faculty. So you can all see here, the slide that has the waking state, and it's got conscious mind, unconscious mind, and then what's called the critical faculty. So literally, the critical faculty is the part of us that judges. And specifically, the biggest thing it judges is this real or is it not? So it's the part of us that cares to distinguish what is real versus what is not real. That was my definition. I wish I put it up on the slide, so I'm going to actually type it out in the chat box because it's such an important point. So, chat here. Our critical faculty equals the part of us that cares to distinguish what is real versus not real. There you go. I would copy that somewhere. The critical faculty is the part of us that cares to distinguish what is real. Oh, I've sent it to the waiting room. That's not useful. No one's in the waiting room. Sorry, guys. There we go. So, so here is the most amazing metaphor for us to understand this. Have you ever watched a movie and been emotionally moved to the point where you cry and you get tears? Yeah, this is an example of even when we are emotionally moved by the movie and we know consciously that we are watching a movie, it's not our life, it's there on a screen. How is it that we get emotionally moved? It's that we let go of our critical faculty to not care if it's really happening or not. And we don't care that it's not us personally. Our unconscious mind just takes that experience to be real in that moment in time. And that creates a trance because we are moved by the movie. We are in a hypnotic, suggestible state by watching the movie and choosing to care whether it's real or not real. So if you think about, have you ever been moved and cared about characters where it's fictional, like Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings, where like just these, I'm sorry to say, but concepts in the movie is not reality. And the fact that we can care about those characters goes to even show again, we don't care if it's real or not real, if it can happen or not happen. If there's a such thing as Voldemort. Now, what like the Voldemort thing there, just there, is what does our unconscious mind do? It maps across and uses it as a metaphor. It gets symbolic. And we start, one of my favorite movies actually is Wonder Woman. I love the metaphor on Wonder Woman and the second one too. And that's all fictional. Yeah, I want it to be real, part of it. And I get moved because my unconscious mind maps across all of the messages to what's appropriate in my life and my world. We all do that. So this is one of the cool key things, again, as to why hypnosis is powerful, is because when you follow suggestions to the point where you are just relaxed enough, you let go of your critical faculty and you have a willful suspension of disbelief, is what it says here on the slide. So when we learn deepeners and convincers, so again, one of the convincers is having your arm up like a rigid bar. And that has us go, well, I know I could put my hand down and not follow the instructions. But when you continue to do it and it says any pressure down, it springs back up. Any pressure down, it springs back up. It's stiff and rigid, stiff and rigid. This is a time when we are not caring if it's real or not, but we are going along with it being on the real side. We are more relaxed. We're in the hypnotic state. Okay. And when we're in this state, can you see? Can I write this down? I have it in a later slide. I knew I wrote it down somewhere. Is that this is the door. It's like when we let go of the critical faculty, it stops the barrier and it opens the door to our inner wisdom. I love that kind of concept. Like anything that used to be a barrier, like specifically with Amy's example, when she had business ideas before today, there might have been this feeling of, well, that's something I want. And logically, that's just something I want to have happen. I know these are ideas that I've had. And then when you're relaxed, and Amy said in the process, you let go of your critical faculty and the reality, the feeling of those ideas becoming true are more real. That's it. They're more real. How cool is that? your own ideas, wants, desires feel more real. And because they feel more real, your unconscious mind starts giving you all the resources as to how that can be your reality. So anything that used to stop you, that critical faculty barrier there, you are now one. It's this beautiful, you are one. And this feeling, this is what I perceive it to be, is you remember who you really are as the one. You get closer to you as the one. Coolly. Now that's going like, whoa. But that's one thing that I actually feel to be true. Because we say, and you've heard me say this before in my other teaching, your unconscious mind is connected to your higher self, and your higher self is connected to everything. The source, the infinity. We've all had that experience with matrix therapies when we get resources. You become the one. There's no more barrier between you and everything else. Okay, guys, we are finished for the day. Just go and be one. But really, that's how cool hypnosis and matrix therapies is. So it is practicing connecting with yourself. And that's why my unconscious mind brought up all the suggestions that it did about you being able to connect more and more with your inner wisdom. Yeah. So it's learning how to work with your unconscious mind, is what it says here on the slide. Okay. So again, I'm going to repeat. What is hypnosis? It's a relaxation process using your imagination. It allows for your critical thinking mind to get out of the way so you can access your inner resources. Hypnosis is suggestion. It's a trance-like state that resembles normal sleep, during which perception and the memory, I've got and twice there, perception and memory are changed, resulting in increased responsiveness to suggestion. So it can be similar to a sleep feeling. Now, there are levels of sleep too. I'm going to get onto brainwaves in a minute. Okay, but again, when hypnosis is like a sleep process, perception and memory are changed, resulting in increased responsiveness to suggestion. Simply too because your critical thinking is out of the way.